Hey, it's Denise. I apologize for not posting yesterday, but I will be reading probably a bit more because I didn't post yesterday, and this post will be earlier than my normal post because I have practice today, so it might be a bit longer. Uh, ugh, sorry. I will also probably post a one shot as well. Anyway, on to your normally programmed podfic. Chapter 6. Back to normal. Nico was glad to finally be out of the infirmary. Too many people and not enough things to keep him busy when he wasn't busy. That was when the paid set in. Nico sat in the Hades cabin on his awful bed that looked like a vampire's coffin. Maybe he would ask the Aphrodite cabin to help him help him change up the decor. He was just finishing changing his clothes when he heard a knock on the door. Nico walked over to the door and opened it. It was Will, of course. Hello, Death Boy. Why didn't you say bye to me this morning? Will's arms were crossed. He was wearing the camp t-shirt, cargo shorts, flip-flops, and his camp necklace with 4 beads, meaning 4 completed summers. His bright blue eyes stood out against his slightly tanned skin, and his blonde hair was a bit messy. Nico tried not to blush. I don't know. You said 3 days, so as soon as I woke up, I left. You were sleeping, and I didn't want to wake you. You can wake me up any time, he replied, rolling his eyes. Come on. Will grabbed his arm and pulled Nico out of the cabin. He had a strong grip. Where are you taking me? He said, as Will pulled him across the grass. Solace, stop. He just grinned, his stupid grin, and kept pulling him along before Nico finally pulled away. Hey, I just told you to do. Hey, I just wanted to do the daily activities with you. Lava wall, archery, stuff like that. I was waiting outside for you to come out, and now you're late. Come on. Our first activity is sword fighting, because breakfast is already over. You didn't come out for that either. Solace, my infirmary time is over, so I don't do the activities. And I don't do the activities. I've actually never spent this much time here since I was doing work cleaning the outside of my cabin. You can do the activities with my cabin. We're both camp leaders, so we create our own schedules. So we'll just do it together, Will explained. Why do you want to hang out with me? Nico asked. It I don't fit in here. Don't you see the way some of the other kids look at me? I don't belong here, and it's obvious. Will frowned. So what? What do other people think? I want you to be my friend. Nico. I want you to be my friend, Nico. Why can't you let me in? Jason's your friend. Rita's your friend. Why can't I? It's not like I really planned for it to happen. With Jason and I kind of had to trust him with a secret. With Raina, we traveled around the world together. Is that what it's going to take to be your friend? Is that what it's going to take to be your friend then? Travel halfway around the world with you? Tell you a secret? Fine, here's one. I overwork myself in the infirmary constantly because that's the only thing I'm good at. I can kind of play the guitar. I have a mean whistle, but that's about as far as it goes. When it comes to my father's powers, I think I'm useless, besides my healing skills. Is that good enough for you? For once, Nico didn't know what to say. He just didn't know what to do with that information. Because I'm so tired. Because he even had time, because he even had time to think, he said, before he even had time to think, he said, I don't think you're useless. Nico mentally cursed himself as his face grew red with for the millionth time in the past 4 days. Will stopped walking and stared at him. What? What? Can I get can't I give someone a compliment once in a while? Nico scoffed. Will smiled, such a bright smile that it was almost contagious. He looked down at Nico and gave him a big hug. Nico froze. He thought that his heart would explode out of his chest. He wanted to stay like that forever. It was then that Nico D'Angelo realized he was falling for Will Salas. Falling hard. I forgot to mention this. I will always forget to mention this in the intros and sometimes at the end, but there are going to be a lot of mistakes. When I first started this channel, like with the one shots, I would do so many takes until it got so frustrating that I just stopped doing takes and I'd just go for it. If I messed up the intro, I'd restart because the intro's normally only a couple seconds long. But if it was like a reading, it's no brainer there. Like I wouldn't do it. Anyway, let us continue. Later that day, when Nico and Will were in their afternoon activities, Jason and Piper ran towards them, Jason waving something in his hand. Jason turned to Piper, and Piper ran in the opposite direction. As soon as Jason reached where Nico and Will were standing, he set down a piece of paper. A second later, Piper was back in sight with Percy and Annabeth on her tail. What's going on? Nico demanded. A couple minutes ago, they showed up when a couple minutes ago, this showed up when Piper and I were doing our afternoon activities together. He unrolled the parchment. It was an image of Leo appeared. The image of Leo spread his arms out. Hey guys, I'm sorry to leave. You like that? Bad news, I died. Good news, I got better. I had to go rescue Calypso, but we're both fine now. We're taking Festus back to. The image cut out for a minute. Back as soon as it happened again. Cooked tacos went. More cutting out. Vaya con cueras. Love y'all. Then the image was gone. They all stared at it in silence. After a few seconds had passed, Annabeth started cursing. Oh my gods, I can't believe this. We were all mourning him, then he sends this. This is as bad as when Percy crashed his funeral. What? Jason asked. Annabeth swatted his question aside. It doesn't matter. What are we going to do? Well, Jason and I were going to look for him. Of course, Piper said. Definitely. We'll leave tomorrow afternoon. We'll come back in a few days for Percy's birthday and capture the flag. But that's it. Hold on. I'm adjusting my phone. Annabeth was shaking her head and Percy was laughing. Nico scowled. This is totally something Leo would do, he said. Soon all the campers and Chiron were watching the scroll. All of them had very different reactions. Some were crying, some were laughing, and others were cursing. Even Chiron seemed surprised. Well, I guess I was right when I thought something was with his death, Nico mumbled. Oh my goodness. Hmm. Hmm? Will asked. Well, I felt Leo's death. There was something strange about it. I didn't tell many people because I didn't want to get their hopes up. Oh, I'm keeping this in my pocket so I can get angry at him while I look for him. I'm going to kill him when he gets back here. Not if I kill him first, Piper said. Chapter 8, Chats and Nightmares. I forgot to read chapter 7's thing, so I'll read that right now. Sorry. uh, hold on. So sped. Chapter 7, a note from Leo. That's what chapter 7 said. I'm so sorry, I didn't read it. Why am I getting so aggressive? Anyway, chapter 8, chats and nightmares. The day after, the day after, the day after Leo's message came, he got another knock on his door and was expecting it to be Will again. But he was surprised to find opening the door to Piper. Hello, Nico. I was wondering if we could have a chat. Sure, I guess. Come in, Nico replied. She smiled and sat in one of the chairs. Nico took the chair across from her. I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to visit you in the infirmary. I got really busy being the cabin leader and all, and dealing with the aftermath of and then dealing with the aftermath of Leah's message, Piper said. But I'm not here to talk about myself. I want to talk about you. Nico crossed his arms. I didn't expect anyone I didn't expect anybody to visit me. But why are you here now? Why do you want to talk about me? The daughter of Aphrodite smiled, her kaleidoscope eyes shining. They looked more brown for a moment. At the moment. Listen, Nico, I didn't really get to talk about you before on the Argo too, but I wanted to talk about your crush on Percy. Nico's eyes widened, like he was afraid he was going to get in trouble or made fun of. How do you know? Was it Jason? Damn it! I told him not to tell anybody. What? Oh, wrong line. Okay. How do you know? Was it Jason? Damn it! I told him not to tell anybody. No, it wasn't Jason. I've known since before you told him. What? Then how? Listen, I'm the daughter of the goddess of love. I can tell things that sometimes I could tell things like that sometimes. I knew you had a crush on Percy while we were on the Argo too, after we rescued you. Nuko scoffed. Well, I don't anymore, okay? I'll tell you the same thing I told Jason. I was young and impressionable, and I looked up to him. I'm over that, and I'm happy for him and Annabeth. Piper didn't even flinch when he yelled, or when he moved his hands. She just kept smiling. I realized that too. I came here to tell you it's okay to be gay. Love is love. We all know that many gods aren't straight, and that just proves even more so that it isn't wrong to love somebody of the same gender. And there are people you can talk to, including myself. She stood up. I have to go now. I hope your time in the infirmary went well, she winked. Just remember what I said. Your cabin. Also, I'll see if my siblings are up to help you with your cabin. See you around, Nico. And then she was gone. Nico looked at his small figurine, the one that Percy gave him when he came back without Bianca. Nico remembered when his father found out. Nico remembered when his father found out that he liked Percy. It was kind of an accident. He was living in the underworld trying to figure out who his mother was and what happened in the past. They were in the throne room. Nico was talking to Hades about finding out about this. So many abouts in this sentence. When he told Nico that he would give him information if he tricked Percy into coming down there. Without thinking, Nico shouted, You have to promise not to hurt him! He blushed furiously and wouldn't meet his father's eyes. Hades raised an eyebrow. And why does his safety matter to you? He got your sister killed, remember? Bianca said it wasn't Percy's fault. That she made her choice. Hades looked confused for a moment, but then it dawned on him. Ah, I see. He sighed. Ah, I see. Why, Poseidon's boy? He's quite annoying. Though someone annoying can be quite charming sometimes. Am I correct? Persephone rolled her eyes and throne next to his. You can say that again. Nico covered his face. At this point, Nico covered his face at this point, and Hades just laughed. It's all right, son. I'm more concerned about who you have a crush on, not the gender preference. I've had male lovers myself. When Nico thought that Hades agreed not to hurt Percy, he left to go hide in his room. Nico set down his figurine. He checked the time. It was almost time for dinner. As he was walking over to his table, Lou Ellen and Cecily ran over to him. You didn't show up for any meals yesterday or today. We wanted to we wanted to see how you were doing, Lou said. I'm fine. I didn't really want to come to meals. I was getting them before everybody else arrived. But I decided I would come to dinner. He secretly wanted to come to dinner so he could see Will. He would be done working in the infirmary for a while. Nico he was couldn't believe he was doing this, though with Percy it was a lot of avoiding. He didn't feel like doing that with Will though. It was like being drawn to the sun. He wanted to avoid him, but he just couldn't. That's great, dude. Hey, wanna team up with me with my capture the flag? We'll be playing in a couple days, Cecily said. Nico rolled his eyes. I guess that they wanted to be his friend too. He didn't understand why, but there was no point in arguing. He had already tried that with multiple people, but it didn't seem to work. Demigods are so stubborn. Sure. Great. See you around, Nico. They walked off to their respective tables, and Nico went to go sit at the Hades table alone, like he usually liked it, but not anymore. Okay. There's quite a bit left of this chapter, and this is the nightmare part. So I will be reading this part later tonight, or I'll just add it to this video, or it'll be in tomorrow's video. If there is a video tomorrow. But on that note, that will be the end of the video today. I love you all so, so very much. Mwah. Goodbye.